Hi chat, welcome to the stream, welcome to the EU Late Night, our last EU Late Night before Lille Regionals this weekend, and we actually have an interesting top 8 matchup for you today. It's Snorlax Stall versus Charizard Arvinzard. No, actually they don't play that many Arvins. Anyways, it's Charizard Pidgeot versus Snorlax Stall. Let's check it out. I think the game's already starting, so we'll head right to it. So this Snorlax Stall deck might not be everyone's favorite to play against. It can utilize some annoying strategies, such as taking advantage of your opponent's Pokemon that can't retreat. We have our stream match featuring Skit 10 Card Market versus Aka Horyu. The player you're seeing on stream, Skit 10, is the Snorlax Stall player, and you know, given that we are seeing a European regional this weekend, we know that Sander Wachek will probably be in attendance, and if we know anything about his style of play, we do know that control may show up in a big way this weekend. Will it be this type of control? Will it be this variant of control, this block Snorlax strategy? Ooh, and we see just a Blazing Destruction from the Charizard player. Looks like they don't want to play anything else from their hand. Normally this would be a death sentence into an attacking deck, but I don't think that the control deck can really punish this slow start at all. They can't take a knockout, but they are going to play Erica's Invitation and do find a Rotom V. So that supporter already paying huge dividends, because this Rotom V now stuck in play. And I think with 4 Snorlaxes and this much gust potential, having this Rotom V be in the active position, I think that could seal the game up already automatically. Looking at the list, there's only 1 escape rope. There's no lightning energy or anything like that. So this Rotom V, once this 1 escape rope is gone, this Rotom V is going to be stuck permanently, and that will close out the game. Seems like a really good matchup for block Snorlax control here. Aka Horyu starting, unfortunately, that Rotom V in hand. I think if you're able to limit your in-play Pokemon to just that Charizard, just an attacker, and keep that Rotom V out of the active, out of your discard pile, out of your hand, I think the Charizard deck probably just wins. I mean, block Snorlax can't do much except gust up something that's not useful. In this case, however, the Rotom V... Oh, looks like we have some technical difficulties with the stream. Let me see if I can resolve that. One sec while I message the player. Looks like they closed the stream out. Anyways, in the meantime, chat, if you have any questions about your favorite decks or the decks that we're showcasing, let me know. We're seeing some familiar names in the top 8 of this EU late night. Mrs. Oda King and Togekis and Hino. Some players that are consistently doing well in these events. Sorry about this, chat. We'll go to a BRB stream, BRB screen, while we figure this out, but feel free to drop any questions. Happy to answer them, regardless of what deck you're talking about. If you're looking forward to Lille or Toronto, happy to answer some questions and chat some Pokemon in the meantime. But let me figure this out. Let me get this sorted. Let me get these streams back. Just 1 second. Chat, we are back, and given that we are watching a control matchup, looks like we haven't missed much, to be honest. This Rotom is stuck in the active with 4 blocks Snorlax in play, so this Rotom is not retreating anytime soon. And there is 1 escape rope in the list, but you know, you have to time that rope with an Iono, and even if you do, the control player is not going to be taking any prizes, so they're going to be drawing 6 fresh cards, probably going to be able to boss this Rotom back up instantly. I'm not seeing a great win condition from Akahoryu here. I mean, the deck itself has a good win condition. You just can't start Rotom V in your hand and you can't put it in your discard pile. That's basically the best case scenario for this Charizard deck. As long as you only have Pokemon that can attack, I think you can win. But it's just not the case in this match here in particular. All Skit 10 card market has to do is just pass, and they are advancing their win condition ever so slowly, waltzing towards that finish line. The closer and closer your opponent gets to 0 cards in deck means the closer and closer you get to winning this game. You don't even need to play the boss's orders, but there is a Jet Energy. I did miss that. So how many Jet Energy does this Charizard deck play? Only one Jet Energy and 1 escape rope. So you just have to boss this Rotom V twice and the game is over. So Akahoryu, do they have any way out? Looks like an Iono. We may have missed an escape rope being played, but escape rope would be basically the only thing left to get this Rotom V out of the active position. Otherwise, it's just going to be stuck. It can't retreat. It can't do anything. You can't even boss up another Pokemon like the Rotom V to retreat it because, man, Skit 10 is just not going to play those down. So all you can boss up is another Snorlax, which will keep you locked in that active, and Rotom V is just going to be a huge detriment, and I think Game 1 should be locked up pretty shortly. That being said, you know, if the Skip Rope comes down now, there's no boss's orders in hand, so the Pokemon catcher would have to hit heads. If it hits tails, the Charizard will get a few attacks off. Oh, there's 2 catchers now. So 2 catchers means 75% chance to bring this Rotom V back up if Escape Rope comes through. So let's keep an eye on this Charizard deck. Can they find that Rare Candy Pidgeot to find their Escape Rope, or have they already used it? We may have missed it when the stream went down for a little bit. We'll see. It looks like they're still playing the game out though, so it basically signifies to me that they think they still have a chance. So they have to find the Escape Rope, and if they find it this turn, there is a 75% chance for Control to bring that Rotom V back up into the active. If not, 25% chance that your Charizard can start swinging into these Snorlaxes for free. But no, it's going to be a concession. I think maybe the rope has already been played. That win does go to our Control player. And it is a best of 3 though, so there are 2 more matches to be played. This time, I do think the Zard deck can beat this Control deck. You just can't have Rotom V in your hand like that. That Rotom V got punished instantly from that Erica's invitation, and that's just not the game plan that you hope for. If you have a lone Charizard, or even Charizard and Pidgeot, both of those attackers, both of those Pokemon can attack for fire energy, so the fact that they can't retreat, not really an issue. I think as long as you get that board state, the matchup should be okay for the Charizard deck. Fingers crossed that we'll see more of a game this time. We'll see Charizard maybe come back to life. We've got Zoroark TCG in chat. Hello. Hello, Zoroark. Very cool Pokemon. I'm a big fan of Hisuian Zoroark myself. But yeah, I think the deck, I think the matchup is actually really interesting. It's not an auto win for Control by any means. It just kind of depends on the Charizard hand that it gets, and also if your opponent is able to punish Rotom V with an Erica's Invitation or a Echoing Horn. You just can't play down that Rotom V, you can't play down Manaphy, you can't play down that Mew. You gotta keep those out of the hand, and then you can potentially win with the Charizard deck. Looks like the game request is starting soon. Some of our other top 8 players include some Lost Tinas, Arc Tapu Koko, Lugia, Colorless Lugia, I believe, Colorless Arc Barrel, and Lost Box. Zoroark TCG says, I got crushed by Charizard at Peoria that bubbled me out of top 8 in juniors. Were you playing Control? Snorlax Control. Fun fact about this top 8, this EU top 8 here in Late Night 143. There are 5 Japanese players and 3 European players. Japanese players kind of taken over this EU Late Night. Let's see if they can pull out a win. Lost Box. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, Skit 10. Oh, Arctura. Okay, Arctura. Skit 10 from Switzerland playing against Akahoryu from Japan. Do we think that Snorlax stall will show up to Lille? It definitely could. Definitely could. I would put my money, however, on Xander bringing something a little bit more spicy than just pure Snorlax control. I think might bring Mimikyu V, Penny control, might basically a box of tools that he normally does. There's a lot of control tools in the format right now. Unfortunately, there's a lot of decks that control will struggle to beat. Like Qian Pao, it's hard. Lost Box, you need to play a lot of cards to be able to beat Lost Box. But who knows? You never know with Xander. We've got the block Snorlax in the active. Did Akahoryu start Charmander, or did they start a Pokemon that can't attack? That will be key. That will make all the difference here in this matchup. Alright, Akahoryu starting that Charmander with the fire energy. This is a good sign from the side of the Charizard player. If you are a Charizard fan, this is exactly what you want to see. Oh, rare candy already being discarded. Battle VIP pass going to stay in the deck. Not very useful. Rotom V instant charge, drawing 3 cards. No Erica's invitation yet. So that is pretty impactful. If the Charizard can start attacking this turn, that could be massive. Unfortunately for Akahoryu though, they don't play Arven, which means that it is harder to find that rare candy. Okay, we see an Ultra Ball. Is there a rare candy in hand? If there's a rare candy in hand, I think the game is going to be almost over. It's just too much aggression, a little bit too early. And the rare candy is there. The Snorlax, the lone block Snorlax, is going to get knocked out. Okay, this Rotom V might survive another turn. There's a Vitality Band. They might not be able to find it in time. This Rotom V, 190 HP. We can see our control player. They're streaming their whole screen, so we can see them looking through the deck list, looking to see what is the worst case scenario. What can this Charizard EX player do to me? And the worst case would be Vitality Band, but it has no Pidgeot, so there's no way to search for that Vitality Band. So that Rotom V could survive a hit, and we do see the Iono. Is there an Erica's invitation? No, no Erica's invitation and no Snorlax. Ooh, this Heatran bench though might be kind of scary because this Heatran doesn't do any damage until there is damage in play. The Magma Basin though going to make that possible. So now the Heatran not really a liability at all. Now is guaranteed to do damage no matter what, as long as it has 2 more energy onto it. So that can't be stalled for very long either, unless you get some hammer heads. Do we see a Snorlax here? Okay, heads, the Heatran. Maybe the Heatran bench wasn't too smart, but maybe you kind of have to, because otherwise Erica's invitation would leave it stranded and active with no damage on it. So I guess you kind of have to. Bench it in case of the Erica's invitation. But do we see Erica's invitation grab anything important? No, just a Charmander. So Charmander, not too much of an issue for that to be stuck in the active, especially given that we don't have any Snorlaxes in play. So position looking pretty dire for the control player. Just needs 1 attack with a Vitality Band or 2 attacks to seal up this game. Do they have it? No Arven means that it's not likely. Energy on the board is good. That's a great start for the Charizard player, retreating into, I imagine, the Charizard EX, and then now you can reuse that Magma Basin to keep those energies alive. We're going to see just a 180. Control player survives for yet another turn. Safeguard Mimikyu, really interesting tech card in this control deck. It makes a lot of sense, and the Rotom V actually will survive thanks to that penny. So they will heal up, but they will probably have to re-bench it, or maybe get another Snorlax here. Ooh, actually, there's only one Snorlax. There's no Snorlaxes in deck, so I think one has been knocked out, and 2 have been prized. So let's see how the control player navigates this less than ideal setup. They do get the heads here, so the Charmander is going to be stuck for a while, and the hand is not big. So there's not Akahoryu actually going to... This Charmander, unless they find a rare candy Charizard or something like that, it's going to be tough to take advantage. You might have to just start attaching 2 energies and using that steady fire breathing attack for 30. And with Penny being a possibility, that might give the control player a little bit too much time. So we might want to see another rare candy Charizard come through, but it's going to be tough to find all those pieces exactly in that order. So we see the Avery, we see the Fire Attach, we don't see a Rare Candy Charizard, so that does mean our block Snorlax control player will survive another day. Peonia might see another Snorlax, but it doesn't. Just 3 VIP passes going to go back in. There's 2 Snorlaxes in the top 3 prizes yet to be seen. Pokestop now, discarding Yakumo and Iono. Not too helpful in this situation. And we got some Pal Pads to put some supporters back in the deck, especially useful when the deck is thinned down. In this case, Rare Candy Charizard would work, Jet Energy would work, Escape Rope would work, and even Boss would be pretty good here to get out of this block Snorlax. You want to start putting on some pressure on your opponents, but you don't want to burn too many resources while doing it. Chat, let me know if you think Control watching this Snorlax deck is cool or if it's boring. I think there's a lot of players that see it both ways. I think it's pretty neat seeing alternate win conditions be viable, especially if they're not broken or absurdly OP. And I think that is the case for this block Snorlax deck. I think it's a good strategy, but it's not oppressive. And I think you get interesting games like this one where it's kind of a back and forth tug of war. Akahoryu having the pieces to close out that game, and the Snorlax player trying to maybe find another Erica's Invitation to kind of punish that. Erica's Invitation, 7-card hand. Is there anything there? Just a Charmander. But better than the Charmander with an energy. That is for sure. Thankfully for Akahoryu, there's no Rotom V, no Manaphy in hand, nothing like that, no Mew. Just an attacker that can get going eventually. A little bit slow, but can happen eventually. We see the Echoing Horn in hand for Skit 10, our control Snorlax player. And we see Iono from Akahoryu. So hand looking a little bit more awkward from Skit 10 now. All those resources being put on the bottom of the deck. Gonna have to Rotom V a couple times to find some more cards, I imagine. Trying to find more of those Erica's Invitation. Akahoryu looking for Rare Candy Charizard, Jet Energy, or Escape Rope. I think those are key here. Okay, Jet Energy coming through, bringing up that Heat Ran up to the active, going to do a nasty 280 damage. So anything that will get sent up will get knocked out. Can Skit 10 respond? They don't have a great hand yet. Needs something here from these Trekking Shoes or Pokestop. Maybe a Cross-Seaver. Ooh, 3 supporters hitting a discard. Not supporters that they need necessarily, but ooh, Hammer off of Shoes. It's a 50% chance to rip an energy off this Heatran, and there's not that many energy left in deck, so that might be the case. No, they're gonna go for another card here. Sydney, not super useful. Just gonna play it though. Ooh, Vitality Band gone. Just to see the hand, Rotom V is in hand. Okay, that is crucial information now, because if this Rotom V can't get shuffled back into hand or discarded into the discard pile, Erica's Invitation will be huge. And Skit 10 knows that. They are shuffling back that Erica's Invitation as we speak. If they find it, that can make the game so much more difficult for Akahoryu, maybe even impossible. We know that they have, I believe, just one Escape Rope left. So if that Rotom V hits the bench and is put into the active, and it happens again, that could spell doom for Akahoryu. That being said, though, this Snorlax isn't going to go down. So Skit 10, even if they're able to accomplish that play and get the Rotom V into the active, they have to find another block Snorlax, and that's kind of why they put that Peonia back into deck. We know that there's one block Snorlax in there still. Avery now, the cat is out of the bag for Akahoryu. Both players know that there's a Rotom V in that hand, so you might as well draw some more cards to try and get out of it. Maybe bench that 4th Charmander or bench a fire-type attacker. Something that prevents you from getting Erica's Invitation. Seems like that's not going to be the play, though. Seems like they may not have it, so they're just going to attack with that Radiant Heatran, knocking out that Snorlax, going down to 3 prizes. It's looking very good for Akahoryu, but it's not over yet. Let's see how Skit 10 responds. Silene, 1 heads. What will they grab? Will it be a hammer? Will it be Cross-Seaver? Ooh, block Snorlax. Okay. Block Snorlax gonna come through. Going to Nest Ball for it. Pokestop. Ooh, second Cross-Seaver, but Erica's Invitation now not in the discard pile, so maybe that was a little bit of a missequence. Hammer, though, going to work here, maybe buying a turn. This Heatran not able to attack anymore, and we do know a lot of energy have been played. They are in play, and we see Erica's Invitation. That is massive. Okay, so can Akahoryu attack this turn, but more importantly, can they bench lock themselves? If they can play down one more fire attacker, which they do have, they have that Delphox V and a 4th Charmander and a 2nd Pidgey. As long as they play down one of those, the Rotom V will not be in danger of being brought up to the active. You could discard it, but there is Echoing Horn in the hand as well. They're not going to discard it, but they are going to be able to find something like that Pidgeot EX. Pidgeot EX would make playing this game so much easier, being able to quick search for anything you need, and I, in this case, would quick search for a basic stat. Probably 4th Charmander, but Delphox V works just as well. Delphox V has 2 attacks. One is a little bit too resource intensive, Magical Fire. You put 2 energy attached to the Pokemon into the Lost Zone to do 120 to the active and 120 to the bench. Or you can just use that Eerie Glow for 1 fire, and that might be enough to stay in the game. slowly whittling your opponent down with those burn damages and preventing deck out with Iono potentially. Okay, we do see that 4th Charmander come down. 3 Charmanders on the bench, 1 Charizard evolved, and Fire Energy. Perfect hand for Akahori to respond, because now that Erika's Invitation can't do anything. How does Skit 10 respond? What can this Snorlax player do? Maybe cross switch or bring up Snorlax, or Boss bring up Snorlax, or sorry, Boss bring up Pidgeot or Charmander. Looks like we're gonna go for the Charmander here, and combined with that Radiant Serena, the Charmander does not do enough damage at all. But only 2 prizes left here. Something like Escape Rope and Boss Rotom V would close out the game, and Pidgeot makes getting those pieces really easy. So basically, all Skit 10 can hope for is that Escape Rope is prized at this point, because Escape Rope plus Boss plus that Radiant Heat Ran on the bench will knock out that Rotom V for a game, unless it gets pennied next turn or something like that. So we see the Block Snorlax player, basically this is their last turn. I think as long as Escape Rope was in deck for that Charizard player and they grabbed it, and as long as Boss is in deck, I think it'll be tough to win this game. Maybe Hammer on the Heat Ran though could keep them alive. We've seen so many Hammerheads. So many Hammerheads now. Slowly, these energies are getting burnt out. I believe Akahoryu does play 1 Super Rod. Yep, 1 Super Rod in the deck for Akahoryu. So not in danger of losing energy completely. And the Pidgeot, obviously a massive, massive boost in being able to pull out whatever you need and kind of stay alive in the control match, prevent their win conditions, because if you prevent their win conditions for long enough, you are going to win the match. Nest Ball now for second Snorlax, putting Penny back in the deck, trying to get rid of this 2 prize liability as soon as possible to buy yourself just 1 more turn. Deck looking pretty thin from the side of Skit 10. We see the Fire Energy. Is there an Escape Rope Boss play? We know that they grabbed a card last turn, and they're grabbing a card this turn. It looks like it probably is going to happen. Escape Rope into Heatran. Boss's orders up that Rotom V for game. We are going to go to a game 3 between Control and Charizard. Super cool matchup. Super cool back and forth. That Control deck looking for win conditions while the Charizard deck trying to prevent them. Good play from Akahoryu, trying to benching himself out, making sure that there was no opportunity to use that Erika's Invitation. Really good stuff. One last match between these two players. One last game to see who moves on to top 4. Let's see who goes first here. It looks like Skit 10 is going to choose to go first in this Control versus Zard matchup. We see Radiant Serena being started here from Control, and whatever Aka Hordew starts is key. If you start anything but a Pokemon that can attack, I think that could spell doom. And it's a Manaphy! Oh no! I have to imagine that just makes the game so much harder. It's almost unwinnable starting that Manaphy. Aka Hordew definitely fighting an extremely uphill battle starting that Pokemon with no way to pull it up from the active. I mean, back in Brazil, we saw some Charger decks playing that Penny to prevent this exact situation from happening, but it's not the case this time around. There is no Penny being played here. The best thing you can do here is retreat this Manaphy into Charmander and make your opponent find that Gust, find that boss's orders. Iono is a good start here to prevent your opponents from having the resources they need in hand to punish this Manaphy, but looks like it's not going to be the case. 2 Pokemon catchers along with 1 cross switcher means that this Manaphy will most likely come back into the active. Maybe though you're going to have to wait until the block Snorlax can come into the active as well, so maybe we'll see just a pass depending on what these trekking shoes grab. Ooh, cross switcher also. What an amazing top deck. Cross switcher going to make this Manaphy. Ooh, they're just gonna play the catcher actually. I think I would oh, we do have Penny in hand. Okay, so if you get heads on catcher here, you can just play the Penny on the active Serena, but no heads, double tails on the catcher, 25% odds, but still the cross switcher gonna come through, going to punish this Manaphy as soon as possible. Actually going to go for that Radiant Heatran instead. I don't know if I guess that makes sense. I guess the Radiant Heatran is just as much of a liability as Manaphy as long as it doesn't have any damage on it. That Radiant Heatran can't get any damage on it, except for the effect of Magma Basin. And Magma Basin only targets the benched Pokemon. So Radiant Heatran, a huge liability without any damage, and I think it makes sense to pull that up. Aka Hordew now only has 2 ways to get out of this. Oh, okay. Actually, given that Rotom V is in play, you have boss's orders to get out of this. You can retreat, but you don't want to be retreating a 3 energy retreat cost Pokemon. Okay, Ultra Ball, Rare Candy, Pidgeot. This is a good start for Akahoryu, except for the fact that there is a Snorlax locking up this Heatran right now. I don't know what the move is. You can use that Escape Rope or Jet Energy or something like that, but you are burning that resource really quickly. You only have 2 opportunities to get out of this lock, and using one this early could feel bad. But maybe it's correct. I mean, your opponent only has 1 Cross Switcher in hand. You don't know that for sure, obviously, but you do know that they burn 2, and they burn 2 catchers, so maybe it's... Ooh, we see the collapsed stadium. Okay, that is really, really good for Akahoryu, because that means once this Heatran gets out of the active the first time, you can Magma Base into it, and that prevents it from being a liability. And in that way, Akahoryu will have no liability whatsoever on board, and there are resources to be able to do that. Something like a Boss's Orders, Rotom V, Rare Candy Charizard, Retreat Heatran could be an option, or you could just see the Jet Energy come through, Jet Energy, Magma Basin. You do want to do all that in one turn though. You can't get rid of this Heatran, you can't send up a Charmander immediately. You have to be able to put some damage on it when you do that. And Quick Search is going to be really powerful in setting that combo play up. We see a Rare Candy Charizard. Where will the energy fall down? Will it go onto the Heatran? Will it go onto Charizard? And Akahoryu may look to retreat and may look to Escape Rope. I think both are reasonable plays with their upsides. I think I would prefer the retreat. That way you can burn a Boss's Orders instead of an actual switch card. It kind of keeps those resources in play. So I would like to see 3 energy onto the active, and then Boss's Orders retreats. But I mean, the danger with that is if your opponent does hit the penny onto their Rotom. So they're going to go for a safer play of attaching to Charizard EX and using that as their attacker. Pokestop now. Looking for Echoing Horn most likely. Echoing Horn would change the game dynamic considerably at this point, but no Echoing Horn yet. Akahoryu has one chance to bench, sorry, not one chance, but has a chance to bench a Pokemon that can attack, like a fire attacker, like another Charmander or a Delphox. Delphox though, probably not enough. Delphox could get stranded as well, potentially, so you really do want to bench a Charmander, if anything. So here, if I were Akahoryu, I would get Charmander and bench it, as long as it's in the deck and not in the prizes. I mean, as you'd expect from Control, this is the final top 8 match to finish. The other top 4 players include Mizota King, Togekiss, and Blazer Stim. Those players are piloting Lost Box, Colorless Lugia, and Mrs. Oda King on Arceus, Colorless Arceus with Slacking V. Okay, we're gonna see the Jet Energy come through. Do we see the Magma Basin at the same time? If we don't, I think this is a mistake to do this preemptively. You really want to damage this Heatran the same time you rip out this Jet Energy, or else the Heatran is just gonna get brought back up to the active. Lost Vacuum. I don't think we're going to see the Magma Basin, so this is really dangerous from Akahoryu. Oh, we see the Boss's Orders getting rid of as well. Boss's Orders would have been a great resource to bring up this Rotom V to prevent the block from happening. But no, Boss's Orders having gotten rid of. I think I would have liked to see the Heatran retreat I would have liked to see Bossed Orders that turn, retreat Heatran, and then Magma Base into it. That would have been, I think, the best play. Let's see if Akahoryu gets punished. There's only one Gust card in hand right now, and it's a catcher, so only 50% chance to work. Cross Seaver, though, I think could grab Boss's Orders. Ooh, Echoing Horn! This is looking better and better for our control player by the minute. 2 liabilities now. The Heatran and the Manaphy on the bench. No Boss's Orders, though, to punish it yet this turn. We could see Pokegear potentially grab Boss. No Boss, only Erika's Invitation. So no Gust is going to happen this turn. So the Charizard player does get to live yet another day. This is going to be pretty vital. How many turns can the Charizard player get some free attacks off? That's going to be key here into winning this game. Boss's Orders now. We know Jet Energy is gone, so only 1 Escape Rope left. This game is looking pretty sealed up from the control player. There's going to have to be some sort of Iono play to disrupt the hand here. Otherwise, there's just too many resources, too many ways to keep gusting up that Manaphy and making it a problem. You got a hello in chat from PokeKids Club. Hello. Welcome to all our viewers, 50 viewers right now. Welcome, welcome. If you have any questions about this deck or the deck that you're trying to play for Leal, feel free to drop them in chat. Thomas says to stop shifting screens. Very sorry, but actually it's not me that's driving the screen sharing. It is our player in top 8, Skit 10, and they don't have any way to share just the PTCGL because they are streaming from a Mac, I believe, and they don't have that option. So very unfortunate, but we are going to have to put up with it because they are the only person willing to stream in top 8. Okay, so we see the block Snorlax player going for that Pokestop. Do they find a Gust? They did just get Iono'd, so there is no Gust in hand. So this Radiant Charizard EX player does get to live. Gear, does it find Boss? No Boss. It's gonna come down to, can the Snorlax player find the Gust in time? Sydney now, discarding just a Seal Stone. Not going to be massive. Ultra Balls, Nest Balls, Fire Energy. With the Pidgeot on the bench. We see the Instant Charge. 3 cards. Cross Switcher. Double Cross Seaver. And I believe a Boss's Orders. No Boss's Orders in this card, so there's still no Gust from the Snorlax player. So this Charizard player just going to be able to Free Fire. 4 prizes left. 1 Escape Rope left. If they take 2 more prizes before getting Gusted, that will seal up the game, I believe. We see some players in the chat happy with their placements in the recent regionals. Congratulations. Hopefully you have continued success moving on. A chocolate orange. Akko saying hi. Hi, Akko. Snorlax being knocked out. 3 prizes for that Charizard player. The clock is ticking. Time is running out for our block Snorlax control player. If you're a block Snorlax fan, you're really hoping that this Trekking Shoes finds something good. Something like a Cross Switcher. Something like a Boss's Orders. Is it there? No, not quite. We can see Cross Seaver. What can Cross Seaver grab potentially? Could grab Penny, could grab Iono. Crosseiver now. What will it grab? I don't think there's really great options. Snorlax going to be the choice here. So one more knockout from Charizard does mean that this Rotom V is in a dangerous position because there could be a rope boss combo to close out the game. Magma Basin now. This Heatran is fully set up, ready to knock out this Rotom V if it doesn't get pulled back to the active, but you need to pull up the Rotom V and Gus at the same time. Not gonna happen because you can't play Penny and Boss at the same time, and we don't see the second Cross Switcher. That would be the key here. You would want Boss and Penny and Cross Switcher, but it's looking like it's not gonna happen. So as long as Akahoryu has the escape rope available to them, as long as it's not in the prize